Halt. In the name of the First Order, I ask you to surrender. Uh, anyways, doing my review on the movie Star Wars Force Awakens, and I got my Stormtrooper t-shirt for the occasion. First Order Stormtrooper t-shirt. And when I went to the theater, I wore my Boba Fett hoodie. You know, Boba Fett. It's not zipped up or anything, but you've probably seen these. I got Darth Vader and a Stormtrooper, and you can see it like that. It's a hoodie, and this zips into a mask, but it's a hoodie sweater I wear sometimes. But let's get right down to the story. The movie's good. I would say that this movie is one of the best Star Wars movies of all time. Am I ready to put it above Empire Strikes Back? No. I'm not going to put it above Empire Strikes Back. I still think that's the best one, and it's my favorite one. But I would say this movie is probably at the same level as A New Hope. I think it's better than Return of the Jedi. I'd put it at the same level as A New Hope. And it is certainly better than the Star Wars prequel movies, you know, especially Revenge of the Sith. It's even better than Revenge of the Sith, I would say, which is the best of the prequels. But I like this movie. I thought it was very well done, very good. And let me just say this before I get on with the review. This is a spoiler review. I'm going to be cutting into certain areas about the story and the movie because I just think there's so much there to cut into, and I want to talk about that stuff. You know, one of the characters that I felt was fun to follow through the movie was Finn, because you know in the movie he rescues a guy named Poe Dameron, and he helps him escape from a First Order starship. I don't want to get, you know, so then, you know, he escapes. You know, Finn's a former stormtrooper, and he helps this X-wing pilot escape. And but Finn, you know, even though, see, what happened was, and Finn had mentioned this to Rey, this other character I'll get to in a little bit. There was a point in the movie where he told her that when he was born, he was taken away from his family and sent to the First Order to be raised and trained as a soldier. So I guess that's how the First Order get their troops, by taking young babies from families and raising and training them. But he didn't want to have anything to do with the First Order. He didn't like what they were about, and he wanted out. But when he goes on his adventures, you almost feel like, you know, you're on an adventure with him, you know, and he goes here and he goes there, and you're just kind of like, you know, this is a character that's, you know, easy to follow, you know. It's a new character, and you're like always hoping best for that character. You know, you hope they make it, they don't get in trouble, they don't get caught. You know, it's that kind of thing. So I think this character is a pretty good character. Rey, as you know, is the woman, the young woman that's in the movie, and you know, she has one of the big parts in the movie. Rey, she grows up on this planet, Barku, I think that's how it was pronounced, Barku or something like that. Maybe I didn't pronounce that right. And it's a planet a lot like Tatooine. It's a desert planet. There's you know, there's like dealers there. You know, people that sell their stuff. You know, kind of like what Watto was in the prequels. You know, kind of it's that kind of planet. You know, you have a lot of merchants on the planet. I think there's a cantina there. It's very much like the planet in Tatooine in the original Star Wars and prequels. And so, anyways, she's a woman that kind of tries to find her way through things. She has a robot named BB-8. I think that's, yeah, BB-8, which was originally with Poe Dameron. So, anyways, she goes on this adventure and everything, and I don't want to get, I know what this is, a spoiler review, so I don't want to get too far into it, and she hooks up with Finn at some point, and they go on this adventure and together, and eventually meet Han, and you'll see they get the Millennium Falcon and fly on that, but you'll see the movie. I don't want to go entirely through the whole movie. I'm just gonna, some of what I said is already spoilers, but I'm just trying to get through the review. And one of the characters I did have a problem with was Kylo Ren, because he just, I don't know. I mean, he was kind of like a Darth Vader character, a Sith character, and I did not like that. I don't mean that's what he is, but what I didn't like about him is that he seemed to be very. I mean, when he had his helmet off, he just seemed kind of like he was maybe mentally ill or insecure. He seemed very emotional, and it's almost like he was wearing that mask, to hide who he was. I mean, he just did not come across to me as like some evil guy. I could definitely tell he had emotions. He had that kind of feeling like he didn't know whether he was doing the right thing or not. I mean, it's hard to explain this character. It's hard to, one of the things I didn't like about his helmet is I got so sick and his voice just kind of annoyed me. Like the stormtroopers, Darth Vader, in the old other movies, Darth Vader, Boba Fett, and all those. Their helmets have comm links, but this helmet on him, it has a comm link, but it just sounds like a guy speaking through a cheap microphone. I don't know, it just didn't sound right. It's like wearing some kind of voice changer or something, But it was, it is what it is. But I don't know, just something about his voice just didn't. I mean, I'm not saying I didn't like the character of Kylo Ren. He's just so mixed up. I mean, sometimes he has these tantrums. He takes out his lightsaber if he hears bad news or something. He takes his lightsabers out and just knocking everything around in sight. He's like inside a room or something on the ship, and he takes his lightsaber out and starts knocking everything down with it, in anger. And then there is a point in the movie where, and Kylo Ren is the son of Han Solo and Princess Leia. There was a scene coming up where, yes, Han Solo does get killed, and he gets killed by Kylo Ren. Now Kylo Ren, he's trying to. I mean, Han Solo tries to get him back. Trying to make him see the light again. There is a point where he walks up to Kylo Ren and says, "Look, Kylo Ren, come back home. I'm your father. You're my son. We love you. We want you to come back." And so what ends up happening is he looks like he's going to fall over for this. He's like, you almost think that he's almost going to do it. He's actually going to go back with Han. But unfortunately, that's not what happened. And for a minute there, I was almost starting to believe, is Kylo Ren really going to go to the light side? But then I thought back to the trailer where I was thinking back to the trailer where you see Kylo Ren fighting Finn, and that's something that's supposed to happen later on in the movie. So I'm thinking to myself, no, Kylo Ren, he's not going to the light side. The only way this is going to end is with Han Solo dying, and that's what happened. And that scene kind of ruined it for me, because Han Solo is one of my favorite characters in the whole Star Wars universe. He's one of my, I like Boba Fett, I like Jango Fett, but Han Solo was my first and most favorite of all of them. I mean, he was my first one and favorite one, and it still is one of my favorites. So it was hard to see that. It was hard to see him die in this movie. Now, I don't blame J.J. Abrams. I suspect, for that, for that in the movie. I don't, the director. I don't suspect that this was J.J. Abrams' idea. I think it was more of a Harrison Ford's idea than it was J.J. Abrams, because Harrison Ford said that he wanted to die in his past Star Wars movies. He wanted to die. I think it was either Empire Strikes Back or The Return of the Jedi, doing something heroic, and he never got his wish. So people were what drove him back to Star Wars again, because he never really liked doing his Han Solo character, and he never really was into doing Star Wars. He just did it because it was like his lucky break at the time, and I think that he just I guess he got his way this time, and that probably drew him back. Maybe J.J. Abrams said, okay, your character will die at some point in the movie, and I think that's how Harrison Ford got the part. That's why he stayed with it. What drew him to the movie, to do the movie, and so yeah, the whole Han Solo death was just, I think it was just unnecessary, and I was even hoping that somehow he would survive. I mean, the lightsaber went right through him and everything, but you never know. Sometimes in movies, people look like they got the worst death possible, and somehow they survive. But the whole planet blew up anyway, so he's a goner. And but I had my issues with Kylo Ren. The voice, the way his voice sounded, it just kind of sounded irritating. It wasn't anything like the movie, or I mean, excuse me, the trailer. It wasn't anything like the trailer where he says, he's looking at Darth Vader's helmet saying, "I will continue what you had started," or something like that. The voice doesn't sound quite like it sounded good in the trailer. It sounded actually different. But Kylo Ren, I don't know. He doesn't seem... He's an evil guy, but he just doesn't... He has kind of emotion. He gets emotional sometimes. He got very emotional when he was talking to Han before he killed him. He just comes across to me as somebody who's just kind of mixed in the head and confused, And it seems like he has an obsession of being like Darth Vader, He wants to wear a black helmet. He wants to wear black clothes. He wants a thing to make his voice sound deep. It's like he has an obsession with that. Now, I don't know that he's a Sith. I know that he did belong to the Knights of Ren, which is like the Sith. And so... Yeah, I had issues with Ren. I just think he's just kind of an odd character. When he takes the helmet off and stuff, he just looks like a guy that's so confused or something. I don't know. Very emotional. He gets emotional. He seems insecure at times. But I don't know. It's hard to explain this character. But if you go to see the movie, you'll see what I'm talking about. He's just kind of full of a lot of things: rage and confusion and he at times gets emotional. So I don't know. I just think at some point, I think the character is just a little weak in that aspect. I think, but it's still a good character. And Rey, I have well, at the end of the movie, Rey finds the planet where Luke is, and she eventually, she gets to the planet. She sees Luke. He's wearing his robe. He turns around, pulls his robe off like this, and she hands him the lightsaber. That was the only, and that's when the movie ended. That was the only time in the movie you saw Luke Skywalker, and I think a lot of people pretty much knew that he was at the very end of the movie. But he didn't even say anything. He had no lines or anything in the movie. It was kind of, I thought that was kind of odd, I was wishing that they would talk, because she could have told him about what's going on, and but maybe that's for the next movie. But as far as Rey is concerned, this woman character, I think she might have some connections with Luke. Could be Luke's daughter. I don't know. there's a possibility there. It can't. I don't think Han and Leia had a daughter. They might have if she was their daughter, they would have recognized her, and they didn't. So I'm thinking that maybe her bloodline is with, maybe she's connected with Luke somehow. Maybe that's Luke's daughter. That's one thing about these Star Wars movies. Things remain a mystery for about 3 years until we find out, and we start connecting the dots. So this person's related to this person, that person's related to that person. So yeah, I think that the movie is great. I think it's a good movie. You should see it. Another character I thought was interesting was one named Maze Cantana. Cantana, I think her name. And she's a little alien woman. Her head is shaped like a lemon, and she wears these glasses that like pop bottle glasses, and she's some alien species, but she kind of reminds me of two different characters. She kind of reminds me of a Yoda character and the Oracle from Matrix. She has so much wisdom, so much knowledge of everything, and Luke Skywalker's missing lightsaber was at her place, and she's got this. I guess it's like maybe an old Jedi temple or whatever. It's looks like a cantina inside. There's different rooms and hallways, and kind of a creepy place. But Rey does find Luke's lightsaber, and she tries to convince Rey to feel the Force and to take Luke's lightsaber. But the thing is, though, she's more of a like a Yoda character, and she's probably going to be in the next movies. But the thing is that I felt in this movie, there was also a lack of, like I said, you see Luke at the very end of the movie. There was a lack of Luke Skywalker. There was a lack of C-3PO. There was a very lack of R2-D2, and R2-D2, C-3PO. He's you just see him for a little bit. He's got a red arm. I don't know what that's about. And then BB-8 meets R2-D2, except R2-D2 is not working anymore. He's just dead. He's just sitting there dead and not working anymore. And then eventually he comes back to life, and he's up and running again, and that was like just one scene. So there was a lack of certain characters. You did see Leia at times, Leia and Han. They've been kind of split up over the years from the way it looked, but they every now and then would meet each other and talk to each other and stuff like that. So it looks like there has been a separation there, but they always come back together and communicate and all that. So that's my review. I think it's a good movie. This is a spoiler review, and if you've seen the movie, that's great. I hope I'm going to see it again. And I think that some people, if you didn't mind spoilers, and you watch this, I'm sorry I gave a lot of the story away, but anyways, that's my review, and everybody take care, and happy holidays, by the way. Haven't done a video in a long time, but everybody take care, and I'll talk to you until my next video, whenever that is. Alright, everybody, and may the Force be with all of you.